Good morning, student. Welcome to the third lecture of unit number 2, that is memory unit. In previous lecture, we have discussed about the memory hierarchy, and now in today's lecture, we are going to study about the semiconductor memories. So, let's see the definition of semiconductor memory. So, semiconductor memory is the main memory element of a microcomputer based system and is used to store programs and data. So the main memory element are nothing but the semiconductor devices that stores the code and information permanently in that particular device. So the semiconductor memory is categorized into two types, that is volatile memory and non-volatile memory. So this RAM is comes under the volatile memory and the ROM comes under the non-volatile memory. Now this categorization is again subdivided into some more types, that is RAM is subdivided into SRAM, which is called as static RAM, and the DRAM stands for dynamic RAM, again flash RAM, MRAM, PRAM and RRAM. Okay, and likewise ROM is again divided into some subtypes, that is EPROM, UV EPROM, EEPROM, flash ROM and OTP ROM. Okay, and I think you know about these subtypes. You have learned these subtypes in first year also itself. Okay, so this is about the categorization of semiconductor memory. Okay, now as I previously discussed, semiconductor memory is broadly categorized into volatile memory and non-volatile memory. Okay, so the RAM comes under the category of volatile memory. So now what's volatile memory? A memory which is capable of storing information as long as the DC power. DC power means as long as the direct current is applied to. So volatile memory is capable of holding information as long as direct current is applied to it. Okay, so here in this figure, you can see internal organization of bit cells. Okay, that is internal organization of memory chips. Okay, so this whole figure constitutes one memory chip. Okay, this whole figure constitutes a single memory chip, and that memory chip contains number of bit cells. Okay, so the memory cells are organized in the form of an array. We know that to retrieve an information from the memory, we cannot address each cell individually. So what we do? So what we do is we address a word of memory. Okay, a word of memory in the sense a collection of cell is called as word of memory. Okay, so collection of cells is called as word of memory. So here each row of the cell, they constitute a memory word. Okay, so each row, this is a row. So each row of this cell constitutes a memory word. And all the cells of the row, these are the cells, these verticals are memory cells and these horizontals are word. Okay, so all the cells of the row are connected to a common line which is called as word line. Okay, so all these memory cells are connected to a common line. Now this is a common line. Now this line is called as word line. So you can see the cells here in the first row. These are the cells in the first row. All these cells are connected to a common line. That is, all these cells are connected to a common line, that means word line, and that line is denoted by W0. Okay, now look at the second row. All the cells, all these cells are connected to a common word line which is denoted by W1. So here in the example that I have shown here, how many word lines do we have? We have 16 word lines. Okay, starting from W0 to W15. Okay, the cell in each column, they are connected to a sensor write circuit. Now this is row. Okay, so we have 16 rows. We have 16 word lines from W0 to W15, and now this is column. Okay, now the cell in each column are connected to a sensor write circuit. Now all the cells are connected to a sensor write circuit through bit lines. Now this is called as bit line. Now all the cells are connected through this sensor write circuit through these bit lines. Okay, now these two lines are, this is the one line and this is the another line. Now these two lines are bit lines. They are B7 and B7 dash. Okay, this is B7 dash, this is 1 dash, and this is 0 dash. Okay, now let's consider it as bit line B7, it is bit line B dash, it is bit line 1, it is bit line 1 dash. Likewise, bit line 0 and bit line 0 dash. Okay, so now here these two bit lines are connected to a sensor write circuit through the bit line B7 and B7 dash. Okay, that means one bit line is the complement of the another one. That means the B7 dash bit line is the complement of B7 bit line. Okay, so it generally called as B and B dash. Okay, so in this figure you have B0, B dash, B1, B dash, B2, B dash up to B7, B dash bit lines. Now this sensor write circuit, is connected to a bus. Okay, now the sensor write circuit is connected to a bus, that is computer bus, through the data input and output lines. Okay, D0 to B7. So they are data input or output lines and they are single bidirectional lines. Okay, so if you wanted to read a data from a particular memory cell, this is a particular memory cell, or we can say that individual cell. So if you wanted to read a data from a particular memory cell, then that data is first passed to the sensor write circuit, and this B7, now this B7 line will act as a data output line. Okay, and the data, after that data is placed on this computer bus. Similarly, if you wanted to do a write operation, the data from this computer bus is fetched through this data input line, and then it is fed to a, these are the input and output line. Now this data is fetched through this data input line, and then it is fed to a sensor write circuit from the sensor write circuit through the bit lines. Okay, from this sensor write circuit, these bits are read through these bit lines. Okay, that is B and B dash, and it is placed onto the corresponding memory cell, which is denoted by a word line like W0, W1, W15. Okay, so this figure is an example of a memory chip consisting of it consists of 16 words, and each word is of length 8 bits. Okay, there are 16 word lines. That means this memory chip consists of 16 words. And what is the length of each word? 8 bit, because we have 8 bit lines from B0 to B7. Okay, so there are 16 words in this memory chip and each word is of length 8 bit. Okay, so this is W0 to W15. It means that 16 words, and each word is 8 bit of length. So this is the memory organization, that is 16 by 8 memory organization. So what is the configuration of this memory chip? It is 16 by 8. Okay, or we can say that 16 by 8, it means that this memory chip consists of 128 bits. Okay, how many bits this memory chip consists? 128 bit. That means 16 words and each word is of 8 bit of length. That means 128 bits. Okay, so this is your organization. 16 by 8 is your organization of the memory chip, and the size of this memory is 128 bit. Okay, now there are two signals shown here, that is read write signal. These two signals are control signal. First one is read or write signal. It specifies required either read or write operation. So if this is set as 1, if this read or write control signal is set as 1, then it is read operation. Okay, because your R is 1 and your W bar is 0. Bar, it means that your 1 is converted into 0. So if it is set as 0, then it corresponds to write operation, because if it's set as 0, that means your R is 0, that means your read operation is 0, but W bar will becomes 1. Okay, that means if it is set as 1, then it will perform write operation. If it is set as 0, then it will perform, if it is set as 1, it will perform read operation. If it is set as 0, it will perform write operation. Then another control signal is CS. So this CS stands for chip select. Okay, CS stands for chip select. As it is a single memory chip, most of the times we can have multiple chips. So that time we can use this control signal chip select to select a particular chip. Okay, so if we have a multiple chip system, this is a single chip, this is a one memory chip system. Similarly, if we have multiple chips, you can select the particular chip by using chip select control signal. Okay, since we have a 16 words, how many address bits do we require to represent a number 15, or we can say that the word line 15? We required 4 bits to represent maximum size of the word line, that is 15. So how many bits are required to address 16 bits? 4. 4 bits are required. Okay. So using these 4 bits, you can access any word line of your interest. Okay. So if it is 0, 0, 0, 0, then this address decoder, will select the word line W0. Okay, I think you know about this concept, because I think you have learned about it in STLD subject. Okay, so how many bits are required for decoder and encoder to address a particular bit. So if it is 0, 0, 0, 0, then this address decoder will select word line W0. If it is 0, 0, 0, 1, then the address decoder will select word line W1. If this is 1, 1, 1, 1, then address decoder will select word line 15. Okay, so again, during a write operation, the sensor write circuit, it receives, let's see here. During a write operation, this sensor write circuit receives a data from this data bus, and the data is stored in the cell of the selected word. Now we will see, given a bit organization, what is the number of connections for address, data and control lines required. Okay, so this is usually a question. So in the figure given here, we have 128 bit cells. How many total bit cells we have? We have 128 bit cells. So the total number of bit cell is 128. Okay, so 128 bit cell means how many rows you have? You have 16 rows over here. Okay, 128 bit cell means you have 16 rows over here, and each word is a 8 bit of length. Okay, so how many control, data and address lines do we require in order to denote 16? How many address lines do we require? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we require 4 address lines. As I have mentioned here, we require 4 address lines. Okay, so now here we have said each word line consists of 8 bit of data. Okay, now let's see here. For 128 bits, 128 bit means we have 16 word lines. Each word line is of length 8. So how many address lines do we need? we require 4 address lines. Okay, now how many data lines do you require? You require 8 data lines because we have 8 bit of data. Each the length of each word is 8 bit. That's why we require 8 bit of data lines. Now you have two control signals. Okay, now how many control lines you require? You require two control lines because we have two control signals, read or write control signal, and another one is chip select. Okay, so it is 2. So 4 plus 8 plus 2, it means that it will be 40. Then additional 2. Additional 2 signals or 2 more lines are required. That is for the positive supply and the ground supply. Okay, so take another example where you have memory organization of 1 kilobyte. Now this is 128-bit memory organization, that is 16 byte. Now let's consider we have memory organization of 1 kilobyte of memory. So 1 KB means 1024 bits. So again, if each word line stores 8 bit of data, that means the length of each word line is 8 bit of information, then how many word lines do you require? We will require 128 word lines. Okay, or if you are find difficult to do this, then you can directly divide this 1024 by 8 because the length of word line is 8 bit. So if each word line is 8 bit, then how many word lines are required? So you can directly divide this 1024 by 8. Okay, so each word line stores 8 bit of information to represent 128 word lines, that is 0 to 127. Okay, so to represent 127, how many bits do you require? You require 7 bits. That means 7 address lines you require to represent 128 address lines. Okay, so to represent 8 bit of data, you require 8 bit of data lines. Okay, then this 2 stands for 2 control signals, that is read or write and chip select. Okay, so altogether we need 17 control lines plus 2. Now this 2 stands for the power supply, that is positive voltage, and the ground supply. Okay, so they will give you the bit organization and they will ask you to write external connections required for. Okay, so we have seen how the memory cells are arranged in RAM. Again, look at the diagram. Here you have memory cells. Let me erase this all. Okay, now here you have a memory cell and the row is called as word line, and each column is connected to a sensor write circuit. Each column is connected to a sensor write circuit. Single bit line, these are the bit lines. Now we will go more into the RAM. Again, going in the definition. First, we will see the definitions. What is the definition of RAM? Any location which can be accessed for a read or write operation in some fixed amount of time, and it is independent of the location address. Such location is called as RAM, that is random access memory. So two divisions of a RAM is static RAM denoted as SRAM and dynamic RAM denoted as DRAM. Okay, now what is the SRAM? In static RAM, we use latches as the storage element, and they can store data indefinitely as long as the DC power, that is direct current power, is applied to it. Okay, so the storage element is the latch. It can keep the information or keep the data in the cell as long as the DC power is given to it. Okay, and the static RAMs are used to build cache memory. Okay, now what is dynamic RAMs? Now DRAMs used capacitors as a storage element, and these DRAMs cannot retain data very long without the capacitors being recharged by a process called refreshing. Okay, so here the storage element is capacitor, and how do you store the data? You have to keep recharging the capacitors, and that process is called as refreshing. So these dynamic RAMs are used to build main memories. Okay, so SRAM is used to build cache memory and DRAM is used to build the main memory. Now we move on into the details of static RAM and dynamic RAM. So first let's discuss about static RAM. So static RAM, SRAM cell is static RAM cell is denoted by SRAM. Again, moving on to the definition, the storage element in static RAM is latch, and it stores information as long as power is applied to it. Okay, so these memories are called as static RAM. So here in the diagram, I shown one memory cell. So this is one memory cell. So if you remember the previous diagram, here you have many memory cells. Okay, let's say here 8 memory cells, then again 8, then again 8, likewise. So, okay, so here are multiple number of memory cells. So, let's take one single memory cell. Okay, so this memory cell is connected to a word line W0. Okay, so it is also connected through bit line B7 and B dash. Okay, then through these bit lines, it is connected to a sensor write circuit. Okay, so then from sensor write circuit, it is connected to a data input output lines. That is, it is connected to a computer bus. Okay, so this is a configuration. Now I am going to talk about one cell here. Okay, now I am going to talk about a single memory cell in static RAM. Now you are getting my point. There are multiple numbers of memory cell. Now here we are talking about each individual cell. Okay, so this is one memory cell. Now this memory cell is made up of two inverters, okay, which are cross connected on that form a latch. Now these are the two inverters and they are cross connected, so they form a latch. Okay, so the storage element in the SRAM is a latch. Okay, so these are the two inverters which are cross connected, on that they form a latch. Okay, so these are two inverters, inverter 1, inverter 2. It is cross connected and this forms a latch, and this latch is connected to B and B dash. Okay, through two transistors T1 and T2. Okay, these are two inverters. They are cross connected to each other by forming a latch. Then they are connected through the two bit lines, that is B and B dash. As we have discussed previously, your each memory cell is connected to a bit line. Then these bit lines are connected to a sensor write circuit. Okay, likewise here they are connected through bit lines, and there are two transistors, that is T1 and T2. Now these transistors are activated using a word line. Okay, as we have seen, each memory cell is connected to a word line. Okay, now these transistors are activated by using a word line. So word line activates these transistors. So whenever you wanted to store the information, these transistors are closed. Okay, these transistors are closed, it means that these transistors are turn on. Okay, don't confuse on these two words. Transistors are closed, it means that these transistors are on condition. Okay, so T1 and T2 are transistors are act as a switch here. Okay, and they are controlled by word line. This word line activates these two switches. So whenever the word line is at ground level, so this is a ground level, means these two transistors are turned off. So whenever this word line is ground level, these two transistors are turned off. So this latch will retain its states. Now let's see how the read and write operation performs. So how does read operation happen? First, the word line is activated, that is this T1 and T2 both the transistors are closed. Okay, close means they are in on condition. Okay, so when word line is activated, T1 is closed and T2 is closed. That means T1 is on and T2 is on. So whatever there is in cell is given to this B and B dash. Okay, now let's say if the cell is in state 1. Okay, that is cell is storing a bit of information 1. Okay, so when this is storing a bit of information 1, so if there is a 1, if there is a 1 here, since we have a inverter, we have 0 here. Okay, and it is cross connected, so we will have 0 here. Same 0 we will have here and 1 here. Okay, so when this cell is in state 1, 1 will be here in the position X, and this information is transferred through the transistor to the bit line. Okay, now this information is transferred through the transistor to the bit line. So bit line will be having value 1. Now look here, position Y. Now position Y will have a value 0. Okay, so this value 0 through the transistor T2 is given to the bit line B dash, that is 0. Okay, then the sensor right circuit will transmit the state to the output line. As we already discussed in the previous diagram, these bit lines are connected to sensor right circuit, which is connected to input output data line or computer bus. So your sensor right circuit will transmit the states, that is 1 and 0, to the output line. So whatever is there in the B and B dash is sensed by the sensor right circuit, and that information is given to the bus, that is computer bus. Okay, so that is how we read an information. Okay, so if it is a cell in state 1, your B will be 1 and B dash will be 0. Now if your cell is in state 0, okay, now let's see if your cell is in state 0, that means 0 here, 1 here. This one same we have here and 0 here. Okay, 0 means your X will have 0 value and 1 means your Y will have 1 value. Okay, that means your bit line B will be 0 and your bit line B dash will be 1. Okay, so now B will be 0 and B dash will be 1. Now, how do we write an information? To write an information from the computer bus, look at the previous diagram. To write an information from the computer bus, the data first is given to the sensor right circuit. Through this computer bus, data is given to the sensor right circuit. Now the sensor right circuit will pass that information to the bit lines. Okay, that is B and B dash. So if wanted to write a value 1, so from the sensor right circuit, we'll have a value bit line 1. Now this will have a value 1 and this will have a value 0. Okay, now look at this diagram. If you wanted to write a data, if you wanted to write a value 1 from the sensor right circuit, we will have a value bit line 1 and this B dash bit line will get value 0. Okay, then the word line is activated. Activated means these two transistors are turned on, okay, or they are closed. So this value from these two bit lines is transferred to the X and Y. Okay, so that is a read and write operation. Again, I conclude. I will brief on the read operation. Word line is activated. That means T1 and T2 is closed. That means T1 and T2 both are on condition. Now, if the cell is in state 1, that is B will have value 1 and B dash will have value 0. If the cell is in state 0, B will have a value 0 and B dash will have a value 1. Then the sensor write circuit will send to the bit line and data is transmitted to output line. Okay, for the write operation, we set value of B and B dash. So whatever the value is there on the bus, it is given to the B and B dash bit line. Then your word line will be activated, and T1 and T2 is closed. That means these transistors are on. Then the cell is acquired the state of B and B dash. That means these transistors transfer this value from bit line to the X position and Y position. Okay. Then we will see the CMOS implementation of the static RAM and the dynamic RAM in the next lecture. Okay.